like this video and let the story unfold. Never did I imagine I would end up here. In a small town, Emily nurtured dreams of a simple, joyous existence. Emily wed her college love, James, in their youth, brimming with dreams. They possessed little, yet they had one another, and that sufficed. But that was a mere illusion. In hindsight, the signs of the impending storm are unmistakable. Yet then it was beyond Emily's wildest dreams. When James and Emily first stepped into their small rented house, they encountered Mr. Harrison, their landlord. The house was humble, yet it belonged to them. It exuded a warm allure, with a quaint garden and a beloved little backyard. James and Emily stood on the brink of a thrilling new chapter, hearts racing with anticipation. Mr. Harrison, a man in his early 60s, carried the weight of years in his gaze. His face radiated warmth, a smile ever present in their encounters. He was the landlord who would occasionally appear, ensuring the house remained in order. The first time he arrived to mend the shattered fence is etched in Emily's memory. He was unfailingly polite, inquiring if they required anything, weaving small talk about the neighborhood's transformation through the years. Emily dismissed it then. He was merely a kind, elderly figure. Yet, a transformation began to unfold. James's job pulled him away, leaving Emily alone in the house, time stretching endlessly. In those moments, Mr. Harrison emerged before Emily, transformed and enigmatic. He would arrive uninvited, a shadow at the door, sometimes to inspect the house, other times just to exchange words. Initially, it seemed innocuous. He was their landlord after all. Yet, as time passed, a palpable change crept into their conversations. One fateful afternoon, as Emily toiled in the garden, Mr. Harrison appeared unexpectedly. He came over often, and while Emily welcomed his presence, an unsettling feeling crept in with each visit. His kindness was undeniable, yet an unsettling intensity lurked beneath his gaze. That fateful afternoon, he lingered far longer than expected. They spoke of the weather, the garden, and ultimately, the essence of life. In those fleeting moments, Emily felt a stirring intrigue in his demeanor. "Is this place your source of joy?" he asked Emily that day, his gaze piercing, leaving her feeling utterly exposed. Doubt clouded Emily's response. Though she was happy with James, an unsettling distance began to grow between them, intensified by his relentless hours at work. There were moments of solitude even in his presence, yet Emily couldn't bring herself to confess that to Mr. Harrison. Not a word of it. Emily smiled and nodded, attempting to dismiss the thought, but Mr. Harrison persisted. He remarked, "It's all too easy to overlook the vital need for a listening ear, for the comfort of genuine attention." His words pierced the air, sending a chilling shiver down Emily's spine. His words hung in the air, haunting the silence long after his departure. Emily dismissed it, convincing herself it was merely a trivial exchange. Yet, with each visit from Mr. Harrison, Emily began to perceive the unsettling changes in his demeanor. His compliments, once light, now bore a heavy significance Emily wasn't prepared for. He praised her appearance, her self-care, and her upkeep of the house. Initially, his kindness seemed innocent, but soon it became clear he was observing details that escaped everyone else. One fateful evening, James was absent, lost in the chaos of a business trip. On a still night, Emily nestled on the couch with a book, when suddenly, the doorbell shattered the silence. Surprised by the unexpected, Emily paused, uncertainty gripping her before she answered. As Emily swung the door open, Mr. Harrison loomed before her, a smile etched across his face. "I happened to be nearby," he declared, "so I thought I'd drop in and see if all was well." Emily smiled, retreating to grant him entry. His unannounced visits had become routine, so Emily brushed it off. He strode into the living room, and their conversation ignited as it always did. This time, an unsettling tension hung in the air. His gaze pierced through Emily, igniting a sense of unease that she couldn't shake off. A fleeting glance, a lingering gaze, enough to set Emily's heart racing. Mr. Harrison leaned in, his presence more intense than ever. The distance between them vanished, his presence pressing down like a heavy fog. Emily recalled an awkward laugh escaping her, a feeble attempt to mask the tightening discomfort in her chest. She convinced herself it was mere friendliness, that her reactions were exaggerated. Suddenly, as if attuned to Emily's unease, Mr. Harrison leaned closer, his hand resting softly on the arm of the couch. "It's a rarity," he declared, "to encounter someone like you. Someone who listens, someone who genuinely cares." The words appeared harmless, yet his tone held a sinister edge, sending chills down Emily's spine. Emily longed to escape, to voice her discomfort, yet she remained silent. She laughed nervously, drawing her legs to her chest, desperate to forge a barrier, however fleeting, between them. Mr. Harrison caught the change in Emily's stance, and for a heartbeat, silence enveloped them. He gazed at Emily, his eyes tender, yet a piercing intensity lurked beneath the surface, impossible to overlook. "I never intended to make you uneasy," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "Your value is recognized and cherished. Emily, you are truly one of a kind." His voice wrapped around Emily's name, stealing her breath away. Emily's heart raced, and words escaped her. Emily yearned to utter a single word, anything to shatter the suffocating silence. Yet the words eluded her. She was ensnared in time, immobilized, unable to escape. Before Emily could utter a word, Mr. Harrison rose to his feet. With a smile he declared, "I should let you return to your evening." Yet, the smile held an unsettling mystery, an enigma Emily couldn't quite grasp. "I need to know, are you all right?" Emily nodded, throat parched, and watched him walk away from the house. As the door clicked shut, Emily exhaled a breath she never realized she was holding. She sat, fixated on the door, time stretching into infinity as she grappled with the chaos that had just unfolded. Never before had Emily felt such turmoil within her. A part of her yearned to reveal the truth to James, yet another part trembled in shame, paralyzed by fear of his judgment. Emily sought to avoid conflict. She feared the seeds of doubt would sprout, or worse, ignite his fury. Yet, the deeper Emily delved into her thoughts, the more undeniable it became. Mr. Harrison's impact on her emotions was impossible to overlook. It was wrong, and Emily refused to support it. Still, an unsettling suspicion lingered. His visits held secrets untold. What was Emily meant to do? With each passing day, Mr. Harrison's visits grew increasingly relentless. With every visit, the familiar wave of discomfort and unease washed over Emily. Emily attempted to dismiss it, yet it grew increasingly impossible to overlook. He stirred something within Emily, quickening her pulse, yet the reason eluded her. Emily understood the peril. She had to tread lightly, for chaos lurked just beyond the edge. Yet, Emily sensed a profound shift brewing within. She had no idea how profound it would become. Days morphed into weeks, and the tension with Mr. Harrison escalated dangerously. James remained oblivious to the unsettling encounters with their landlord. A part of Emily trembled at the thought of his misunderstanding, or worse, his fury unleashed upon her. Emily was merely attempting to be friendly, wasn't she? Just small talk, nothing more, was it? Each time Mr. Harrison appeared at the house, uninvited, Emily whispered that to herself, attempting to dismiss the rising tide of unease within her. The unease clawed at Emily, impossible to dismiss any longer. Mr. Harrison's gaze haunted her, his fingers lingering on the couch's armrest during that visit, as if reaching for something deeper, something beyond mere neighborly ties or landlord duties. Emily found herself trapped in a loop, replaying that moment, each iteration intensifying the turmoil inside her. On a still Tuesday evening, Emily stood alone in the kitchen, slicing vegetables for dinner. Cooking, once a joy, now felt like a burdensome task, stripping away its comfort. Emily's mind wandered, a nagging sense of impending change loomed over her. As Emily began to season the chicken, the doorbell rang, cutting through the silence like a sudden storm. Emily's heart raced. She gazed through the kitchen window, and there he was, Mr. Harrison at the door, his familiar warm smile piercing the gloom. Days passed without a glimpse of him, and instead of relief, a tight knot twisted in Emily's stomach. She wiped her hands on a towel, inhaled deeply, and approached the door. "Good evening, Emily," Mr. Harrison declared with a bright smile as she stepped inside. "I trust I'm not intruding." "Absolutely not," Emily responded, masking her true feelings with a strained smile. She stepped aside, and he strode in as if it were his rightful place. He scanned the room, his gaze momentarily fixating on the kitchen where Emily had been crafting dinner. "It smells incredible in here," he remarked, his eyes fixed on the meal she was preparing. Emily nodded politely, unsure how to respond to your impressive culinary skills. "Just a simple dinner, nothing extraordinary." "You always say that," Mr. Harrison chuckled, "but you turn the simplest things into the extraordinary." The compliment was nice, Emily supposed, yet it carried a weight when it came from him. It was unlike any praise Emily had received from friends or even James. His gaze bore down, revealing depths beyond mere food or shelter. An unsettling wave washed over Emily, but she fought to suppress it. "Thank you," Emily replied, dismissing it with a wave. "What do you require? Are you here to investigate something?" Mr. Harrison's expression darkened. He paused, uncertainty flickering in his eyes before he spoke. I need a moment of your time to discuss something important. It's been too long since we last truly spoke. Shock coursed through Emily. They exchanged pleasantries during his visits, yet never engaged in a deep conversation. Emily sensed his presence nearby, but she never anticipated his desire for a deeper conversation. A surge of anxiety gripped Emily, yet she nodded resolutely. Absolutely, let's take a seat. Emily guided him to the living room, motioning for him to claim the chair where she often sat with James during their TV nights. An uneasy hush fell before Mr. Harrison's voice broke through, grave and unfamiliar. He started with a deliberate pace. Life has consumed my thoughts lately, a relentless tide of change sweeping through time. In the whirlwind of daily life, we often forget what truly counts. His destination was a mystery. Emily understood. She replied carefully. Amidst the chaos of life, the vital often slips through the cracks. Mr. Harrison nodded, his gaze piercing through Emily. Precisely. Yet, we must not forget to pause and ensure we are truly alive, not merely existing. His words stirred a deep unease within Emily, leaving her at a loss for how to reply. His implication hung in the air, a dark cloud of uncertainty. Emily hesitated, fearing the truth that lay beneath. Emily, he whispered, leaning in just a fraction. A connection ignited the moment we met. A bond so profound it demands my attention, impossible to overlook. Countless times I've replayed our conversations, captivated by your presence. You are extraordinary, and words fail to capture the depth of my admiration for you. Emily's breath seized in her throat. His words, though kind, echoed with the weight of a confession. His words struck a chord, igniting a pulse of dread within her. Suddenly, Emily was ensnared, paralyzed by uncertainty. Her mind raced for words, anything to shatter the suffocating tension that hung in the air. I don't know what to say, Emily murmured, her voice a fragile whisper. Thank you for the compliment, Mr. Harrison, but I am bound by vows. My love for my husband burns fiercely. He appeared utterly unfazed by Emily's words. He reclined in his chair, eyes fixed on Emily, his expression a mask of mystery. I understand, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, laced with regret. Emily, I wish to avoid discomfort, yet I cannot deny my feelings any longer. His words struck Emily like a bolt of lightning. She had heard his admiration before, but this time it struck deeper. His gaze held a depth, an intensity that pierced through the surface. A surge of fear and confusion engulfed Emily. The landlord's visit had turned sinister. This was extraordinary, a challenge Emily couldn't quite grasp. Mr. Harrison's voice was steady yet charged with tension. I don't wish to disrupt your marriage, but I can no longer mask the pull I feel towards you. I had to share my feelings. Words escaped Emily. Emily opened her mouth, yet silence engulfed her. She aimed to spare him pain, yet she refused to ignite false hopes. What was Emily meant to do now? How could she make him see that she was married and had no desire to pursue anything beyond her commitment to James? At last, Emily inhaled sharply, her heart racing fiercely within her. Mr. Harrison, Emily stated with conviction, I recognize your honesty, but clarity is essential. Bound by vows, my loyalty lies with my husband. Your kindness is noted, but I seek no more than a landlord-tenant bond. A heavy silence hung in the air, and Emily caught the glint of disappointment in his eyes. He gazed at his hands, then nodded with gravity. I understand, he whispered. I regret if I caused you discomfort. That was never my aim. Emily nodded, relief crashing over her like a tidal wave. The tension faded, yet a haunting unease remained. A haunting certainty gripped Emily. Nothing would ever return to normal. Mr. Harrison's feelings lingered undeniable, whether Emily chose to confront them or not. He rose, and Emily mirrored his movement. Thank you for listening, he said, his voice soft yet tinged with sorrow. I shall take my leave, allowing you your evening. I honor your boundaries, Emily. Emily needed him to understand her feelings. She masked her unease with a smile, though turmoil churned beneath the surface. Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Until we meet again. He stepped through the door and Emily lingered, fixated on the void he left behind. A tempest of thoughts raged within her. Emily was in shock at the unfolding events. Married to James, yet she found herself in a tense exchange with their landlord. What was happening? Why did it seem like her whole world was tearing apart? Emily shook her head, battling the encroaching doubts. She concentrated on her life with James, clinging to the love and commitment they once shared, yet a persistent, unsettling feeling whispered that this was just the beginning of something more tumultuous. Following her talk with Mr. Harrison, Emily fought to banish the entire ordeal from her thoughts. She feared for her bond with James, desperate to avoid further complications with their landlord. Yet, despite burying her feelings, they lingered, refusing to vanish. Guilt and confusion clung to Emily, forcing her to endlessly second-guess the encounter. Days later, Mr. Harrison reappeared, unannounced. Emily's heart clenched at the sound of the doorbell. Another awkward conversation loomed, and she steeled herself to confront it directly. She swung the door open, battling to maintain her calm. "Greetings, Emily." He greeted her, his voice a blend of warmth and caution. "I wanted to confirm that all is well with the house." Emily nodded, a smile strained on her lips. "All is well, Mr. Harrison. Appreciate the inquiry." He paused, uncertainty hanging in the air before he pressed on. "My mind has been consumed by my last words. I never intended to cause you discomfort. Your boundaries are clear, and I honor them." Emily couldn't bear to let silence linger. She stared at him, the gravity of his words pressing down on her. Emily must stand resolute now. Uncertainty had no place here. "Thank you for your understanding." Emily must be clear. She was bound in marriage. Her marriage with James was her sole focus. Distractions were not an option. Mr. Harrison's expression softened, yet a shadow of sadness lingered in his eyes. He nodded, a slow acceptance of Emily's words, no protest in sight. "I understand," he whispered. "I apologize for crossing the line." Emily inhaled sharply, a wave of relief washing over her. "It's fine." Emily needed to confirm they were aligned. With a brief, respectful nod, he turned and walked away. Leaving Emily in the doorway, a storm of emotions raging within. A pang of sadness struck, yet a flicker of gratitude ignited within Emily for finally establishing the boundaries she so desperately needed. That evening, James and Emily gathered for dinner, and for the first time in ages, she felt utterly alive. The burden of recent events pressed heavily upon her, yet she understood the necessity to forge ahead. Emily had to concentrate on what truly mattered: her family, her unwavering commitment to James, and the profound love they shared. "Is everything all right?" James inquired, sensing Emily's unusual silence. She forced a smile, battling the haunting thoughts that clung to her. Lost in thought. "Welcome back. Your presence is felt." He returned the smile, gripping Emily's hand tightly. Home at last. In that instant, amidst the chaos of human emotions, Emily's purpose crystallized. She had to safeguard her bond with James. No force, no person would stand in her path. And Emily knew against all odds they would conquer it together.